Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to see how insertion sort works. So suppose we are given an unsorted array, and if we want to sort it using insertion sort, how it is going to work. In last video, we discussed about selection sort. There we used to find out the minimum element and then we would replace it in the front of the array, right? So insertion sort is little different than that. What we do here is first we take this element and try to see if there is any previous element. So in this case, we do not have any previous element than 3. So we move to next element. Here we take 5 and we try to compare it with the previous element, that is 3. If this 3 is less than the current element, that is 5, then it stays the same, which in this case is true. If not, then this is going to replace the place. So since here it doesn't need any sorting, so we don't do anything. Next we move to the next element, that is -1. So this becomes our current element. We compare it with 5. So we see no, 5 is greater than -1. So we are going to move it to here. And also we are going to compare this to the previous of this element as well. So that is 3. 3 is also greater than -1. So 3 is going to move one step ahead of what it is currently. So in this step, our element is going to look something like -1, 3, 5, 12, 0, 9. So from here till here, it is sorted and this part is not sorted. So we move to 12 and then we continue doing the comparison. So let's see a code solution for this. Let me define a function, insertion sort, which is going to take an array. Okay. So the very first step that we are going to do is we're going to run the outer loop. Okay. Less than array dot length and array plus plus. Okay. So outer loop is going to cover all elements one by one, right? And the inner loop is going to cover the comparison part. So first, before moving to the comparison part, we are going to define let current is equals to array of I. We're going to start from here, right? So here we are going to define the element, and for previous, we are just going to define the index, that is I minus 1. The previous will always be I minus 1, right? So in the next step, we are going to run inner loop and we are going to run a while loop. So the condition for while loop will be that this current, we're going to check this current is less than array of previous, right? And also we are going to cover a corner case, that suppose when it is starting from 3. So there we do not have any element on the previous. So we just going to add this condition like previous should always be greater than 0. Greater than equals to 0 actually. And inside of this, now since we have compared it, so suppose the previous element was greater, the current element is greater, then we move that previous to its right side. So previous plus 1 is going to become array of previous, and then we are going to just decrement it. So I'll just explain this once more. That suppose we are comparing if current is less than array of previous, which is true in this case, right? This is the current. When this is the current element, the previous was greater than this. So in that case, previous plus 1, that is the value of previous in case of 5 is 1, 0, 1. So that will go to 2 place, right? It is going to be shifted to second place of the array. So we are just going to shift it, and then we are doing previous minus minus, because we are going to compare this same thing with 3 also, whatever the previous array is. Okay. Now once this loop is done, then we are going to update the value of our current, right? So previous plus 1 is equals to. Also, once these all things are done, we have to return the array. So let's just console this and call the function insertion sort, call it array, and see if it is giving the correct output. So yes, you can see that it is giving us the shorted array. So this was how insertion sort works. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.